Help us hit our first 1,000 subscribers. Your support drives us to create even more wonderful stories. Thanks for being part of our journey. In this video, I checked her location, and she was at a hotel, but we weren't staying in one. That was the moment I knew something was terribly wrong. It was a rainy Wednesday afternoon when Aaron's phone vibrated with a familiar sound. A location ping from Rachel, his wife of 6 years. She had left the house 2 hours ago, saying she was going shopping with Laura, her best friend since college. Aaron hadn't thought twice about it. Until now, the map showed her blinking just outside the city center, near a boutique hotel called the Garnet Key. At first, he thought it had to be a mistake. Maybe she took a wrong turn. Maybe she and Laura stopped for coffee. But the more he stared at the screen, the harder it was to convince himself. His chest tightened. Rachel had never shared her location before. Not until they both updated their phones last week and enabled Find My by default. She probably didn't even realize it was on. And now here it was showing something that didn't make sense. Aaron took a screenshot. His hands were clammy. He zoomed in and out on the map, hoping the dot would magically shift somewhere else. It didn't. Instead of calling her, he decided to wait. If he asked her directly and she lied, it would be obvious. If she told the truth, then fine. He'd feel like an idiot, but at least it would be over. But if she lied, and he already had proof, then everything would change. Rachel came back 3 hours later, cheerful, a shopping bag dangling from her wrist. She kissed him on the cheek, tossed her shoes off, and headed to the kitchen. "I swear the traffic was awful," she said, opening the fridge. "Laura got us lost trying to find some new bakery. Total chaos." Aaron smiled. He didn't confront her, not yet, but in that exact moment, something shifted inside him. Something quiet, heavy, irreversible. It wasn't just the lie, it was the ease with which she told it. And so, with his heart pounding like war drums, Aaron began planning. He needed answers, and the only way to get them was to go where the lies had started. Don't go anywhere, because in the next chapter, Aaron sets his trap, and what he uncovers next might just break him. Coming up next. The next morning, Aaron couldn't stop thinking about the Garnet Key. The hotel had a reputation. Not seedy, but not exactly squeaky clean either. It was the kind of place people used for affairs precisely because it wasn't flashy, discreet, forgettable. He booked a room for Friday night, just 2 days away, using a different name, Daniel M. White. The alias made his stomach churn. But he needed to be invisible. He needed to see things for himself. That evening, he casually asked Rachel about Laura again. "What bakery did you say you two went to?" Rachel blinked for half a second too long. "Oh, some French place. Can't remember the name. Near 8th Street. I think." Aaron just nodded. That bakery she mentioned? He'd already checked. It didn't exist. Friday arrived fast. Aaron packed a small overnight bag, kissed Rachel goodbye, and lied right back to her. Business dinner. Might be home late. Her smile was convincing. Too convincing. At 6:45 p.m., he checked into room 314. The room smelled of stale air and fabric softener. He positioned his phone by the window, keeping the live tracking app open. Rachel's location hadn't changed for hours, but at 7:19 p.m., her dot moved. Aaron's breath caught. She was driving toward downtown, and then she stopped outside the Garnet Key. His heart pounded so hard it hurt. This was it. He didn't move. He just stared at the dot. 1 minute, 2, 3. Then his phone lit up. A message from Rachel. "Stuck at Laura's. Might sleep here. Don't wait up." Aaron stared at the words.
No hesitation. No remorse.
His hand trembled as he set the phone down. He walked to the peephole and waited. You won't believe what he saw just 2 minutes later. What happens when Aaron finally sees who's with Rachel? Don't miss the next chapter. It's where the mask starts to crack. Coming up next. Aaron's hands clenched into fists as he stood behind the peephole. He watched every shadow move in the dim hallway, and then her silhouette appeared. Rachel. She walked down the hall like she'd been there before, confident, comfortable, not looking around, not hesitating. But it wasn't just Rachel that made Aaron's heart drop into his stomach. It was the man behind her, tall, clean-cut, wearing the same navy suit from the gym photos, the man Aaron had only seen on Rachel's phone screen. Back when she casually scrolled through a work group chat months ago, Aaron stepped back from the door, breath caught in his throat. They entered the room next door. Room 316. He could hear faint laughter through the wall. A pop. Champagne. He sat on the edge of his bed, phone in hand, recording audio. He needed proof, not for revenge, for truth, because no one would believe him if he just said it. Not Laura, not Rachel's family, and not the part of himself that still wanted to be wrong. Then, something strange happened. He heard a voice, but it wasn't the man's. It was another woman's. His brow furrowed. 3 voices now. Laughter, then silence, then a low, distinct moan. Aaron's heart pounded in his ears. This wasn't just a date. This was an arrangement. Rachel didn't just cheat. She was part of something else. He couldn't breathe. Who was the other woman? Why did Rachel lie so cleanly, so easily? And what kind of person smiles to your face, then checks into a hotel with 2 people? The answers were getting uglier by the second. You won't believe who the third person is, and what Rachel is hiding. Stay with us, because next chapter, Aaron gets closer than ever. Too close. Keep watching. The wall between rooms 315 and 316 was thin, so thin, Aaron could hear every laugh, every whispered word, every fake moan Rachel let out. It wasn't just her voice that crushed him. It was how comfortable she sounded.
No hesitation. No guilt.
No trace of the woman he thought he married. He sat there for what felt like hours, the recording on his phone still going. Then, out of sheer impulse or maybe desperation, he did something reckless. He knocked on the wall. Just 3 short, sharp taps. Silence followed. Complete, then muffled movement. A door creaked open in the hallway. Aaron froze and pressed his ear to the wall again. Then, he heard Rachel's voice. "Who's in the room next door?" The man answered, casually, "Don't worry. Probably just someone checking in." But Rachel didn't sound convinced. Aaron took a breath, trying to calm the pounding in his chest, when suddenly he heard something that made his stomach drop. A third phone started ringing, on speaker, and the ringtone was his own ringtone, not from his phone, from inside that room. His heart nearly stopped. Rachel had cloned his number? Or had someone taken his phone at some point? What was going on? Aaron stood up in shock, backing away from the wall. His mind was spinning now. This wasn't just cheating. This was orchestrated, intentional. He looked at the door to his own room and considered leaving, running, pretending this nightmare wasn't real. But something told him he was already in too deep. He had to know the whole truth, even if it destroyed him. Don't go anywhere. What Aaron finds in the next chapter will make everything so much worse. Who really set him up and why? Stay tuned. Everything changes next. Keep watching. Aaron couldn't stop staring at the screen of his phone, replaying the sound of his own ringtone echoing from the other room. It wasn't possible. He hadn't lost his phone. He held it in his hand the whole time. So how was his ringtone playing in that room? He stepped out into the hallway, his heart hammering so loudly he thought someone might hear it. He walked past a maid's cart, turned the corner, and stopped in front of room 316. The door was now shut. Silent again. Too silent. Aaron was about to knock when he noticed something small, almost invisible to the average eye. A hotel keycard stuck partway into the frame of the door. Someone had jammed it there like a signal or a trick. His hand moved before his brain did. He yanked the card out, and the door creaked open. The room was empty, sheets tangled, the TV on mute, but no people. Aaron stepped inside slowly. His eyes scanned the room, and then landed on something that made his legs nearly give out. On the nightstand was another phone. His phone. Same case, same lock screen, same everything, except his own phone was still in his hand. He picked up the one from the table and turned it on. It wasn't a copy. It was his actual device. Then what had he been holding? Aaron stared down at his other phone. Flickered, glitched, turned off on its own. His blood ran cold. Was someone messing with him? Was Rachel? Suddenly, the bathroom door creaked behind him. Aaron turned sharply. and saw a figure stepping out in a towel. Not Rachel. It was Logan, his former best friend, the man who'd ghosted him 2 years ago. After an argument that had ended their friendship, he had no business being here. But worse, Logan froze when he saw Erin. They locked eyes for 3 seconds that stretched into eternity, and then Logan whispered the one name Erin wasn't expecting. Rachel. Erin's stomach flipped, but Logan wasn't talking to Erin. He was calling out behind Erin. Erin turned around, and there she was, standing in the doorway, wearing his hoodie, her face pale, her mouth slightly open, like she'd seen a ghost. She dropped her purse to the floor, and Erin noticed something fall from it, a second hotel keycard, for room 316. You're not going to believe what Rachel says next. And what Logan reveals? It changes everything. Stay locked in. The next chapter will hit like a punch to the chest. Don't miss it. Rachel didn't say a word, not when Erin demanded answers, not when he shouted her name, voice cracking under the weight of betrayal. She just stood there, her eyes bouncing between Erin and Logan, lips pressed together, trembling. Logan grabbed his clothes and started dressing in silence. He didn't even try to deny it. He looked ashamed, but not surprised to be caught, like he'd accepted this outcome long ago. You were supposed to be at your sister's wedding, Erin muttered, his voice barely audible. Rachel finally blinked, like snapping out of a trance. I was, she whispered, and then I wasn't. That sentence didn't make sense, but somehow it said everything. Erin backed away like the floor was lava beneath his feet. How long? He asked. Rachel hesitated. Logan stepped forward, sighing. Since last year. Erin's jaw tightened. The weekend we moved into our new house. He asked. Logan nodded. Slowly, Rachel turned away, tears welling in her eyes. But why? Erin asked, not even sure who he was talking to anymore. Rachel swallowed hard, her voice barely holding together. You stopped seeing me, she said. You were always busy, distracted, tired. I tried, but I felt invisible. Erin's fists clenched, not from anger, but from pain. And your solution was to sleep with the one person I trusted most. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The silence said everything. He turned to Logan. You broke into my life, and then you broke it apart. Logan looked ashamed, but didn't apologize. Instead, he said, she came to me. That hurt more than a slap. Erin walked to the door, grabbed the fake phone from the dresser. I'll send you your things, he said to Rachel. She opened her mouth as if to say something, but he cut her off. I don't want to hear it. Not now, not ever. He walked out of room 316 without looking back, but just as he turned the corner, he heard Rachel's voice. Wait, Erin, there's something you don't know. He froze. His heart pounded. He slowly turned around. Rachel took a step forward, hands trembling. I'm pregnant, she whispered, and it might not be yours. You won't believe how Erin reacts to that bombshell, or what he finds in Rachel's bag that flips the story again. This isn't over yet. You need to hear what happens next. Erin stood frozen in the hotel hallway. His breath caught in his throat as Rachel's words echoed in his mind. I'm pregnant, and it might not be yours. It felt like a punch straight to the heart. Yet somehow colder than that, Rachel took a step forward, arms folded across her chest like a shield. Her eyes searched his face for any flicker of emotion she could read. But Erin didn't scream. He didn't cry. Instead, he walked back into the room, silent. Logan was gone. The bed was still messy, the air still thick with betrayal. Erin went straight to Rachel's overnight bag in the corner. What are you doing? She asked, voice sharp with panic. He didn't answer. He unzipped the bag and started digging. Rachel rushed toward him, trying to grab it back, but he pushed her hand away. Then he found it, a small white envelope, hidden beneath her clothes. His name was written on the front in her handwriting. He hesitated. Open it, Rachel said, her voice suddenly calm, as if she'd accepted whatever was coming next. Erin ripped it open. Inside was a folded piece of paper and a printed receipt. He unfolded the paper first. It was a letter. She had written it weeks ago. It began with, if you're reading this, I wasn't brave enough to tell you in person. The letter confessed everything. The affair had started out of loneliness, yes, but it had stopped 3 months ago. She had ended it. The pregnancy, she wrote, had nothing to do with Logan. She was almost certain it was Aaron's, but she knew he'd never believe her. The receipt confirmed it. A prenatal paternity test appointment scheduled for next week, with Aaron's name listed as the alleged father. His fingers trembled. He looked up at her. "You wrote this before I found out?" Rachel nodded. "I wanted to fix things. I wanted to tell you everything, but I was so afraid you'd leave me." Aaron's chest tightened. He didn't know what hurt more, the betrayal or the realization that maybe she really had been trying to come back to him. But trust once shattered doesn't glue back that easily. "Why didn't you just tell me?" he asked. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "Because I didn't want to lose you." Aaron stared at the envelope in his hands, torn between fury and something far more dangerous, hope. And just when he thought he'd reached emotional rock bottom, the hotel room phone rang. Rachel's eyes went wide. Aaron picked it up. A voice on the other end said, "Mr. Carter, we found the item you left at the front desk. The one with the footage you requested. Shall we bring it up?" Footage? He hadn't requested anything, but someone had left something in his name, and it might just change everything. Who left the footage? What's on it? Is Rachel telling the whole truth? Or is there more she's hiding? You won't believe what Aaron sees next. Stick around for the next chapter. Things are about to explode. Aaron's hand gripped the small black USB drive the hotel clerk handed him at the door. It was warm, as if it had just been used, and the front desk assistant mentioned it had been left in a sealed envelope by someone who refused to give a name. Aaron's heart was pounding as he walked back into the room, the door clicking shut behind him like a sentence being passed. Rachel stood in the middle of the room, arms crossed tightly, her body tense. "What is that?" she asked, eyeing the drive like it was a ticking bomb. "I don't know yet," Aaron replied. He plugged it into his laptop without another word, refusing to be swayed by her pleading gaze. The screen flickered. A folder popped up titled "Truth Hurts." Inside it, one single video file. He double-clicked it. The footage began in the very same hotel room they were standing in now. Same curtains, same bedspread, same lamp flickering slightly near the wall. Then Rachel appeared on screen, wearing the same dress she had on now. But her arms were wrapped around someone. Not Logan, not anyone Aaron had ever seen before. The man's face was partially turned, but the camera caught enough. He was older, bald, and wearing a suit. The timestamp showed the footage was from only 2 nights ago. Aaron's entire body went cold. Rachel gasped audibly when she saw the screen. Her hand shot out, trying to slam the laptop shut, but Aaron pushed her away, eyes locked on the screen. "Who the hell is that?" he demanded. Rachel stumbled back, her lips parted. She hesitated, then whispered a name Aaron never expected to hear. "My boss." Aaron blinked. "Your boss? The one from your company trip?" Rachel nodded, swallowing hard. "It was a one-time thing. I swear. I was drunk. I didn't think it meant anything." "You didn't think I would find out either," Aaron snapped. She didn't answer. Aaron stood up from the bed, the pressure in his chest unbearable. "So this wasn't about loneliness," he said. Rachel's eyes welled up with tears, but he cut her off before she could speak again. "You didn't cheat on me because you were hurting. You cheated on me because you thought you could get away with it." He walked to the window, trying to catch his breath. Everything was unraveling, everything he thought he knew. And then his phone buzzed, a text message from an unknown number. It read, "If you want to know the whole truth, meet me in the hotel lobby, come alone." He looked back at Rachel. She was frozen in place. "Did you send this?" he asked. She shook her head slowly. Aaron pocketed the phone. He turned to the door. There was only one way to find out who else was involved, and how deep this betrayal really went. You won't believe who's waiting for Aaron in the lobby. The truth is far more twisted than he ever imagined. Don't go anywhere. Everything is about to change in the next chapter. Aaron stepped into the dimly lit hotel lobby, his heart hammering like a war drum. The chandelier overhead flickered, casting fractured light over the polished marble floor. Every muscle in his body tensed as he scanned the room, searching for whoever sent that chilling text. First, the lobby looked empty. Then, from one of the side lounges, a man emerged. He was tall, clean-cut, probably in his late 30s, with sharp features and the kind of confidence that made Aaron instinctively suspicious. The man walked straight up to him and extended his hand. "Aaron, right?" he said. Aaron didn't move. "Who are you?" he demanded, keeping his voice low and controlled. The man gave a half smile. "My name is Marcus. I'm a private investigator, hired by someone very close to you." Aaron narrowed his eyes. "What do you mean? Who hired you?" Marcus took out a small folder and handed it to him. "It wasn't Rachel," he said. Aaron opened the folder. Inside were photos. Dozens of them. Rachel at restaurants. Rachel outside hotels. Rachel in cars with different men. And then, a photo of Rachel sitting in a park with Aaron's younger brother, Tyler. Aaron's blood ran cold. "What the hell is this?" he whispered. Marcus looked at him steadily. "She's been seeing Tyler behind your back for almost a year," he said. Aaron's knees nearly gave out. He gripped the folder tighter, trying to breathe. "No, that can't be. Tyler would never. He's my brother." Marcus nodded. "That's what I thought too, until I followed them to a beach resort 3 months ago. Room 308. Booked under a fake name. But I got pictures." Aaron's vision blurred with rage and disbelief. He flipped through the rest of the photos, and there it was. Tyler and Rachel holding hands, kissing, laughing like they didn't have a care in the world. "You're lying," Aaron said hoarsely. But even as he said it, he knew it was true. It explained everything. The coldness, the gaslighting, the sudden business trips, all of it. "Why are you showing me this now?" Aaron asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Marcus hesitated, then said, "Because I've been trying to warn you for months, but she got to your phone. She deleted my messages. She blocked me. This drive?" He tapped his jacket pocket. "That was my last shot." Aaron looked at the man, his world tilting off its axis. But nothing could prepare him for what Marcus said next. "She's not just cheating on you, Aaron. She's planning to frame you." Aaron froze. "What?" "She took pictures of you while you were sleeping, texts from your phone she forged. She's building a case, saying you've been abusive. That's why she's getting close to your brother. So when she leaves you, she doesn't walk out empty-handed. She walks out a victim." Aaron's mouth went dry. Everything started to make terrifying sense. But if Marcus was telling the truth, then time was running out. Aaron looked up, his jaw clenched. He had one question left. How do I stop her? You won't believe what Aaron decides to do next. His revenge plan starts now, and it's something she never saw coming. Stay tuned. Everything explodes in the final chapter. Aaron booked room 308 at the same hotel where everything started, the exact one Rachel and Tyler had used for their secret getaways. Only this time, he was the one with the plan. Only this time, he wasn't the fool. He called Rachel the next morning and told her he wanted to make amends, that he missed her, that he wanted to talk, somewhere neutral, somewhere they could be just them again. She agreed. Of course she did. He knew she would. Rachel never turned down the chance to manipulate a scene in her favor. By the time she arrived at the hotel that evening, Aaron had already checked in and wired the room with 3 small hidden cameras, one on the lamp by the bed, one in the mirror above the desk, and one, his favorite, in the ceiling smoke detector. He greeted her at the door like nothing was wrong, smiled, pulled her into a slow, convincing hug, then poured 2 glasses of wine. Rachel sat across from him on the bed, sipping casually, like she hadn't been scheming with his own brother behind his back. "Thanks for calling," she said softly. "I really wasn't sure where we stood." Aaron nodded. "I wasn't either, but I figured I'd rather talk it out than go to court." She froze. "Court?" He raised an eyebrow. "Well, if you're going to frame me for abuse, I just thought I should be prepared." The wine glass in her hand trembled slightly. "I don't know what you're talking about." Aaron leaned forward. "I think you do, and so will everyone else. After watching the footage from this room and reading the messages on your backup phone." Rachel's eyes widened. She stood. "You went through my phone?" Aaron smiled. Funny how people who lie for a living always get offended when someone finally beats them at their own game. She moved toward the door. "You're insane. Maybe, but I'm not the one who slept with his husband's brother while planning a false domestic violence claim." He pulled out his phone and played a recording. Rachel's voice, from just a few weeks ago, clearly saying, "Once I get the pictures and the bruises faked, No judge will believe him. She went pale. Aaron, you don't understand. No, Rachel, you don't. He stepped aside, and the door opened again. Tyler walked in. Rachel gasped. What are you doing here? But Tyler didn't say a word. He looked at Aaron, then at Rachel, and then he pulled out his own phone. You told me you loved me, Tyler said, voice shaky, but you were planning to ruin both of us. Rachel's face contorted into something venomous. You little idiot. You were always just the backup plan. For a moment, silence filled the room. Aaron turned to Tyler. Call the lawyer. And to Rachel, he simply said, this time, you won't be walking away as the victim. But just as Rachel moved to lunge forward, Tyler stepped in front of Aaron and said the one thing Aaron never expected. I'm pressing charges too. Rachel's mouth opened, but no words came out because her game was over, and she knew it. The story ends here, or does it? Would you have handled it like Aaron did? Or would you have done something even more savage? Let me know in the comments below.